This episode of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast is sponsored by the best-selling book, Halloween Horror Nights Unofficial, The Story and Guide 2017. If you're brave enough to attend Universal Orlando's Halloween Horror Nights, you better believe you'll need a survival guide. Head over to Amazon and pick up your copy now and get the stories behind the scares and never miss a trick.
Monsters Cafe, Fast and Furious, new hotels, and more on episode 273 of the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Well, hello everybody, welcome to the show. I'm your host Tracy, if you don't know that already. Where have you been?
Well, they obviously haven't been listening.
Exactly. Welcome then. With me we have Lee.
Hello everyone.
And we have Darren.
What's up, Internet?
How is everybody?
Good.
I'm all right.
Awesome.
Yes. Off from a great weekend at Halloween Horror Nights, let me just say.
Go on, Darren. Just
It's
briefly.
the most pleasant experience I've ever had at a theme park. I mean, it's just like all the wait times were just 5 minutes. There was like nobody there. All the scare actors were greeting me by name. It was just awesome. No, it was exactly the opposite. There was about 80 million people there. The wait times, I think like the shortest wait time I saw was 65, 70 minutes by the time we got in.
Wow.
And and admittedly, we were a little late getting there. We got there at like 7 o'clock because I had to work. So we were late getting into the park. But yeah, by that time, even like Ash versus Evil Dead, which has been the notorious like low wait house for this year, was at 65 minutes. And then it just went up from there.
That really, just jumping in and off the back of that seems really strange that that's the house with the low waits. Why do you think that is, Darren? Because for me, that was one I would have been looking forward to.
I think a lot of people just don't know, especially by the name, like Ash versus Evil Dead. Like Evil Dead has a little bit of play by itself, but maybe like throwing the Ash in there, like people just didn't know exactly what it was about for like the mainstream people, I would say.
Right.
And the younger people that, don't have any affiliation towards it at all. And, probably haven't seen the old movies because I don't think the kids of today are watching like 80s horror yet. I don't know if that's like a nostalgic thing yet. We'll see. But
It's weird to think.
What sort of parents do they have?
Because to think, like when we went to Horror Nights last time, we were never in a position where we went, right, we are going to go for that house first. We never, other than the last night where because we didn't even really, we did Stay and Scream and did Insidious. We never really went, right, the first house we are going to do is that one because that's the one I want to go in. It was, we're going to do Finnegan's Stay and Scream tonight because we want to get something to eat. That was the Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah, we didn't even pick our Stay and Scream spot
for the house.
Specifically for a house.
We did it because of where we wanted to be for Stay and Scream.
Well, yeah, you guys were there for multiple nights too, and you had Express.
True, yeah.
That makes a big difference. And when you're trying to like budget, when you don't have an Express pass, like if we would have got there, if we were there for a Stay and Scream and we were able to, stay in Finnegan's, which it probably was complete insanity, seeing how the crowd was. We probably could have got out and done The Shining and American Horror Story before things got too crazy.
Yeah.
And then walked around and got at least a couple more houses in, pick and choose from the rest of them. But yeah, the way it was, we literally did not get into any of them. I did say goodbye to the staple of Horror Nights this year, which was pizza fries.
I need some of those in my life.
Yeah, didn't get to see Bill and Ted or anything like that, but we did get to see it earlier in the season.
Yeah,
I think that was enough for us. But
I think Finnegan's would Finnegan's not have been even busier this year because that was the only place you get mixed drinks from this year. Is that right, Darren?
Yeah, that and Shea Alcatraz.
All right.
On the other side of the park. Yeah. There was a couple of places where you could do, but that was it, yeah.
So Finnegan's would have been way worse this year then.
Yeah, there was no hanging out at the bar like there were in previous years. There was a line to get to the bar, and they just had 5 bartenders back there and making drinks and then sending you on your way quickly.
Yeah.
Weird, isn't it? I think next year is going to be a very, very different year for Horror Nights. I think we're just in a big... Yeah. I mean, Darren, you've been quite open about how you felt about this year not being... Not bad, but not what you have come to expect Horror Nights to be.
Yeah,
and
it's just being on that like upward tick from 25 and everything, and so good. And this was kind of a letdown, and things that we thought we saw before the event started that kind of didn't pan out, like all the blog postings they had with the food and drinks and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and all that changing at the last moment. It just makes me feel like there was a lot of like very last minute big changes that had to happen there, and with the hurricane, of course, too.
Yeah,
that
didn't help at all.
But I still don't understand why like Universal couldn't do a get the stage back together and get the Academy of Villains show back on for them at some point. They did their temporary show all the way through the end of the event, so
yeah, that's weird.
It's a little bit of a bummer when that that's what Universal does. They're a production company; they get productions going, so they should have certainly been able to at that point. But obviously, decisions were being made management wise this year that I just personally, just didn't work with me. So
no, I think next year is going to be a very different year. I think this year's a transition. What with the potential construction in the park that we're looking at next year as well, it is going to be a very different year next year.
It is. I think it is very much.
Interesting. Okay, let's start with some Producers Club birthdays, shall we?
Woohoo!
Ooh, I'm saying birthdays. It's just the one. On the 19th of November, it is the birthday of a certain Count Rucula. Aha. It is Chris Rook's birthday. So happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday, Chris.
Happy birthday.
Yay.
Hey up, internet. That's still the funniest rendition of Darren's catchphrase yet so far.
Where shall we go next? I don't know. So much choice.
There's a lot. I tell you what, there's a lot going on.
There is a lot going on. Let's get it out the way. Darren, talk to us about these new Fast and Furious details.
Oh no!
I think we just we started on a soapbox. We need to carry on.
Oh, we're just gonna rip this scab off. Okay, all right. This is a long one. Last week, Universal finally gave us some new details of the attraction that will replace Disaster. That's Fast and Furious Supercharged. So go ahead, guys, over there. Buckle up. Here's everything you need to know about Fast and Furious Supercharged at Universal Orlando Resort.
It's going to be crap. There you go, that's it.
It's the same as it is in Hollywood. We've simulated a tram vehicle for you. You will encounter more of your favorite Fast characters than ever before in Fast and Furious Supercharged. For the first time ever, Tage, is it Tage?
Yes.
Chris, Ludacris Bridges, and Mia, Jordana Brewster, will join the star-studded cast of the attraction, which includes Dom, Vin Diesel, Letty, Michelle Rodriguez, Hobbs, Dwayne Johnson, Roman, Tyrese Gibson. No, you don't put those two next to each other right now.
No.
And criminal mastermind Owen Shaw, Luke Evans. Fast and Furious Supercharged will be the only place where you can see and even take photos with 15 supercharged Fast and Furious cars, many of them driven by some of your favorite Fast family members. Each vehicle, including Dom's iconic Dodge Charger and Letty's turbo truck, have been crafted by Dennis McCarthy, the man behind the cars for the Fast and Furious films. You'll be able to select a time to ride Fast and Furious Supercharged via the official Universal Orlando Resort mobile app or at kiosks located near the attraction entrance. While you wait for your ride time, you can enjoy other experiences throughout Universal Studios Florida. So that's the Jimmy Fallon way of doing the queue.
Yeah, your cars are going to be your ragtime gals and your hashtag panda.
Yeah.
Oh, look, a car.
Hashtag Dom.
They might have
Dom
those.
Panda.
The cars in the queue might be the ones they had from Hollywood, and the dancing robot arms that they took out of the tram tour. It might be them. And they'll do like a show every 15 minutes of that.
There you go.
Don't.
Oh,
the
man.
ragtime cars.
Oh my God.
Get a partnership with Transformers going. That's the only way I'm accepting this.
That would be cool.
Oh yeah, you see it where that building is and how there's like virtually a sight line to Optimus Prime.
It is actually. That's
There'll
what
be
it's pointing at.
Yeah,
Don't ride
yeah.
that.
There'll be some sort of dance-off between Optimus Prime and one of... Oh, good grief.
Oh, gosh.
That would be quite
Just
cool,
have all-
actually.
yeah.
That'd
Yeah, all the
add to
Fast
it.
and Furious characters are in their cars, and then they transform horribly, disfiguring and crushing everyone.
Oh, you're selling it now?
As soon as you approach the attraction, you see Dom's Dodge Charger parked outside. Of course, you'll know where you're at then. Oh, it actually says that. I was saying that as a joke. And the next line actually says, and you know exactly where you are. Welcome to the underground headquarters of the Fast family. Not very underground, as it's right in the middle of the street in San Francisco.
Not at all.
Inside, you're immersed in the ultimate Fast and Furious experience. Hit songs from the film's soundtrack fill the rooms. It's a lot of Exhibit, if you're into that. As memorable scenes from the series play around you. You'll make your way through familiar places inspired by the films, like the family room, complete with photos of the first family and Tej's high-tech war room. Okay.
I have no idea what any of this is.
You're invited to attend a race after party that can't be missed, and Tej arranges for a custom party bus to get you there.
Oh my God.
Which is a tour bus with neon purple lighting. And it's actually the same vehicle as Kong. We'll just say that right away.
Yeah.
As you make your way to the party, Dom calls with an urgent message. Owen Shaw is headed your way. A high-speed chase ensues, and you must rely on the Fast family to lead you to safety. But will it be enough to keep you and the gang from the clutches of Shaw and the horrible CGI that lies within?
Don't spoil it yet.
Okay. Throw bad. Okay.
Go on, Trace.
Pass.
I thought she was going to say pants.
Well, that too. I will ride it once because it's my job.
Well, a lot.
I will ride it. I will ride it once because you've got to. But if it is as bad as it is sounding, I won't waste my time again.
Well, along with this announcement, they posted a video on YouTube, didn't they? The behind the scenes of it, and that's. I know it was stretched because they're trying to show you a 3D, like a 360 tunnel, but it looked awful.
It was horrendous. Yeah.
I don't think the stretch is really contributing to the fact that CGI is really bad. It was really bad when we saw them debut it in Hollywood, and I think it's just equally as bad here.
It looks like Mortal Kombat. You know, a Mortal Kombat graphics. It's that bad.
Yeah. See, there was something that you brought up there, Darren, about the virtual queuing, and it was using the mobile app or the kiosk outside. But
Which is the same as Fallon.
Yeah, but if it's the same. Well, I think I voiced the same thing with that, and I didn't actually check how it's worked. But more people are going to have access to the mobile app, so are all the tickets going to be gone before people like us from the UK who won't have access, if you like, to the mobile? I mean, I don't really care.
If anyone's listening to this, they will be going, I don't want to get a bloody return time to that.
I know. But that's what I'm saying. There's an imbalance because it's not just a national market, it's an international market. And those of us coming into the country don't always have access.
Darren, you have to be in the park anyway, don't you? To get your Fallon ones.
Yeah.
So
didn't for a while there when it first started. But
then,
I think they realised that people were just the same thing with the whole Disney thing, wasn't it? Where people were just booking, we'll book a time because we might be over there this afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't actually see it being a problem, really, even though I brought that up.
It's just
more of the same, but not even wrapped in a package that I'm bothered about.
Well, that's it. Everyone complained about Kong, and I know a lot of people really like it, actually, even though it's pretty much the same as what's out in Hollywood. But at least the thing is, they put a cool queue on it, and there's a hell of an animatronic at the end of it.
Yeah.
Other than a 360 tunnel, what else is this going to be?
Maybe this will have a giant animatronic Dom the same size as Kong at the end. And it'll be like, good job, recruits. You did it.
I'm Groot.
It's one of those things, like there's been lots of conversations recently about something we're going to get into later on in the news. But if Universal were to ever pull the trigger on a third gate, what franchises do you put in a third gate? And you look at stuff that they already own that they're not going to put in, and there's not an awful lot out there.
No.
Fast and Furious is one that they own, that is one of the biggest box office franchises ever.
We're on 7 movies.
9
movies.
The next one due out.
I've already seen one.
And this is what they've done for it. If you were the owner of that franchise and they were putting an attraction in of your franchise and that's what it was, you'd be like, well, it's just the same as everything else in your park.
The thing is, what do people say about Transformers? It's just Spider-Man.
I don't know, do people actually say that?
But it is. It's Spider-Man with a different skin.
It is, but
it is, and it feels different. But it feels different. It feels faster.
Yeah, Darren would agree with this. I don't ever feel like I'm riding the same attraction when I'm riding Transformers.
But it is.
I don't. But I mean, I can recognize, obviously, we got the same ride vehicles.
Exactly.
And they feel the same in the motion and that kind of thing as well.
And that's kind of what I'm seeing here is, come on, let's have something original. Because this feels like it's going to be more of the same. But it is. It's what everybody's complaining about.
Is that going to be the trend?
Seriously.
Yeah. Is that the trend? Screens and having like a duplicate attraction in each park.
You know.
Yeah, same ride vehicle. It is. It's.
Yeah.
Are they getting discounts for bulk?
I think the problem is, it's that, because the R&D for it's already been done, hasn't it? So it is cheaper to put it in.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was going to say now. I was thinking about it the other day, but my issue is I'm all for taking out old attractions as long as you replace it with something better.
Yeah.
And from what I'm seeing so far, this isn't better than Disaster. Even for how old Disaster was and how dated it was a much more fun experience. You had the participation with people in the queue at the beginning. All right, the actual tram section was a bit ropey, but it was still practical, physical effects.
It was. You know, I mean, what I would really love is when we do get back out there is to ride this and be absolutely blown away and it become my favourite ride ever. But that ain't happening.
The issue is, that's what I was going to say. I think the problem with this is it was already so far down production when they heard all the complaints that were out there, and at that point it was too far along to really change it.
What complaints are we talking here?
Too many screens.
I'm not being funny, but it shouldn't take complaints for them to see screens.
But no.
What is it? Is it because people walk around, that's what they've got the noses in? They're walking around with the phone screen, so they think that's what people want.
It's all about cost,
space,
and about reliability. It's much easier to upkeep a screen than it is an animatronic.
I don't even care about whether it's got an animatronic or not. I would prefer to have an actual ride that doesn't need to rely on the effects of screens to make you feel like you're going faster or spinning or high or whatever. I know that it's a small footprint. I know that Universal...
It's not a small footprint, though. That ride takes up all of Disaster and Beetlejuice. It's huge.
Well, they could have put...
They could have put a lot of things in it. Everyone wanted a test track type attraction.
Well, that's... Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you know what? That would have worked. Fine. Make it so it's a bit best of both worlds. Screens at the beginning and then like test track doors, off it goes and shoots off, gives you that bit of a thrill at the end. They could have done that really easily. I just think it's a cop-out. I really do. And I love these parks and, well, as you know. But
I said when we came over last time, that screen fatigue, because we spent every day in those parks, it hit quick.
Yeah. But that's another thing as well. Glasses wearers. It's
not even so much that. People who suffer from motion sickness, there's a lot of complaints about that.
Is this one 3D or?
Actually, I didn't see anything.
Don't know. That's a good question, actually.
Because I'm sick to death of not getting a proper experience because I wear glasses. And why the hell they can't come up with something, an alternative for glasses wearers?
Darren, is Kong 3D?
Yes.
Is that in the title of it?
No.
They usually put it in the title, don't they?
Yeah, but no, it's not.
It's not called Fast and Furious Supercharged 3D. I don't know. Is there one in Hollywood? Kong is, but I'm not so sure about Fast and Furious. I do not know.
No. Apparently, I'm more angry about this than I realised.
It's just, I think
it's frustration.
If this had been put in 6 or 7 years ago, you wouldn't have batted an eyelid. But we've literally had screen. It's just become the norm now.
It's becoming too family friendly, and I don't like it.
That's not that. Talking to people who are more into what's going on in the parks than we are, sort of knowing what's going on behind the scenes, I think this is the last thing you'll see that is as heavily screen-based as it is. From what we've heard, the Dragon Challenge replacement isn't going to be heavily screen-based. I think Nintendo, from what we've heard, isn't going to be either.
Yeah.
And I think they finally realised. But the problem is, there's like all these people bitching on the Facebook pages, Orlando Informer's Facebook page and the annual pass holders group. They're all moaning and whinging about screens. That's not the place to do it, though. The only way Universal are ever going to change what they do really is either the IP holder turns around and goes, "You're not doing that for my... if you want my property, I want something more than a screen-based ride," or people stop going. That's the only two ways that they're ever going to really change, because if people are still paying for it, they say, why should we pump more money when people are still coming?
Right, but don't forget, what is the majority percentage of people going and visiting Orlando? First-time visitors. So they don't...
I don't know whether that's true anymore.
I don't know, they're not relying as much on the repeat visits because they've still got a steady stream of people coming through the gates.
But then your annual pass holders must get... Darren, I know you haven't been going as much as you have, but when you first got your annual pass, you and Nina were there 2 or 3 times a month, really. Did you ever get that screen fatigue?
Not really. Just because if we didn't feel like doing that, as a pass holder, you just don't feel like you have to do everything every time you go. True. So yeah, if I felt like that or we were on something too much and taking a break from that, that's fine. But we spend more time in the studios too, and having Men in Black there and Mummy being our favorite rides respectively.
Yeah.
We have a lot of time on those without screens, so
it's a good point.
Makes a lot of difference.
Yeah. It's breaking it up, isn't it? But this just ignoring the fact that it's screen based, it just looks horrible.
It looks horrendous.
Yeah. It looks like this really cheesy CGI that, I'm sorry, I know you say it's not that bad, but on the Hogwarts Express, I see the same bad CGI, especially in the London area.
Yeah, I've never found that bad. I've always found that looks all right, but I know you've been quite sort of, it looks horrible.
I thought it looks really bad. But,
it's just Hermione's voice, and
Need Hunter here, don't he? All right, Harry.
Come on, Harry.
I don't think it sounds that bad, but anyway.
You're deaf.
I hope I'm proven wrong, but I can't.
Yes, I want to be proven wrong, but I don't think we will be. Right.
Let's steer the ship in a different direction.
I know. I need to just calm down a little bit. So, shall we head over to Seth for Little Things?
This is Seth Kaburski from the Unofficial Guides, Touring Plans, and Orlando Weekly, back with another look at all of the little things that are new around the Universal Orlando Resort. We'll start out in City Walk, where you'll notice that the Cinnabon is now reopened. It's got some more outdoor seating space and a fresh new look with a nice color palette, but the menu has remained the same. So if you need your cinnamon bun fix in the morning before heading into the parks, Cinnabon is there for you. Let's head inside Universal Studios Florida. In Men in Black, the bug near the beginning of the ride with the cannon that shoots at you and causes you to do your first big spin has been temporarily removed. The team members I talked to didn't even realize it had been missing. Hopefully it's just a refurbishment and that animatronic will be returned soon. And good news for fans of hot butter beer. Over in Diagon Alley, you can now get hot butter beer in the Hopping Pot and the Fountain and Fair Fortune, as well as the Leaky Cauldron. When it first came back, it was only available at Leaky Cauldron, but now you have more options to get your hot butter beer. Speaking of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, let's hop over to Islands of Adventure, where the Dragon Challenge roller coaster has had the last visible bit of track, the blue horntail loop, has now been removed. No more track visible from public areas from the old Dragon Challenge coaster, and it looks like some new trees have been planted near where the entrance to the ride was. So it calls into question where the entrance to the future ride might be. Also in Wizarding World of Harry Potter Hogsmeade, decorations for Christmas have started to go up around the area. They're fairly subtle, tasteful, mostly made of greenery with some feathers and pine cones. Nothing too flashy, but it fits in well with the Harry Potter theme. Christmas decoration has also started going up as well in Seuss Landing for Grinchmas. In addition, there's recently been some repaving work around the Cat in the Hat ride. So you'll notice that the ground around Cat in the Hat is back to its old colorful self. And last but not least, as you're approaching the Universal Orlando Resort on I-4 coming westbound from downtown Orlando, you'll notice a new exit, Kirkman Road 75B for southbound Kirkman and International Drive is finally open as a right-hand exit. This was formerly a left-hand exit. The exit has been rebuilt with a right-hand flyover, which should hopefully make the merging of traffic from the turnpike go much more smoothly. All right, that's all for right now. I'll be back in another couple weeks with another look at all the little things that are new around Universal Orlando. In the meantime, this is Seth Kabursky from the Unofficial Guide, Touring Plans, Attractions Magazine, and Orlando Weekly, wishing you a great week.
That's good that Zeus Landing's got a bit of TLC. I know
Yes.
Gabe commented when we had Gabe and Nikki on last week that it was in desperate need of a paint job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And Lee looked very, very happy to find out that hot cardboard was coming back.
Oh, behave yourself. I'm the only one on this show that actually likes hot butterbeer at this point, aren't I?
Yes, you have no taste buds either. Yeah.
It's
Yep.
It's not.
It is.
No.
It
You're
is.
outvoted. Darren doesn't like it either.
I know he doesn't.
No.
Cardboard.
It's not cardboard.
What I want to know is, when are they bringing out hot pumpkin juice? Because that would be
Just
divine.
get one, leave it out in the sun for a bit.
True.
There you go.
It's enough warmed up.
Ugh. Just get a nice stew from one of the restaurants there and just stick your cup in the middle of it.
I've just actually had an idea, because in some of the restrooms they have
Hand dryers. I thought you were going to say hand dryers.
They have
the baby warmer
baby
bottles.
warmer. Yeah.
No.
I wonder if I could put the bottle in a baby warmer bottle and just try
But you
it.
complain you won't eat hot drinks when you're over
I
there
won't
because
eat
it's
hot drinks. I won't drink hot drinks.
Whatever.
I have the occasional coffee when I can find somewhere it's not Starbucks.
Well, if you get her over here for Christmas, then
Yes, Darren.
she'll probably
Talk to Lee.
one of those cold drinks. Yeah.
But then you wouldn't want to drink cold butterbeer at that, like a frozen butterbeer. Mind you, it wasn't that nice last time I had it.
Nope, it's because it wasn't pumpkin juice. Moving on. We have a SPEW. So let me share the SPEW with you. Bravo for staff member Geiger and Adventure.
HR.
Yeah. Who made my daughter's day after she lost her flip-flop on Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. Geiger was awesome. Went above and beyond. It doesn't say whether Geiger it was male or female. But Geiger came out with a new pair of flip-flops, special Harry Potter certificates for all of the kids, and offered to escort the kids to the front of the line for the ride of their choice.
Awesome.
Isn't that brilliant? So
That's very cool.
That is cool because, like, again, you know, they didn't have to give them a new pair of flip flops.
nope.
You just
They
go,
could have told them to hop it.
yeah, you know, at the end of the day, all you have to do is go, oh, I'm sorry, look, if you come back at the end of the day or tomorrow or whatever, we'll fish it out for you and you can have it back. That's what they do over here.
But that's I know, but you know, they want the guests to be happy and not stressing, and I think that's really nice. And I love the idea of them all getting certificates as well. Anyway, that SPEW came from Jane Kotsonis. I think that's how I pronounce her name.
Awesome.
Well,
Hope
Jane
it's
is
right.
coming on the show for our Volcano Bay roundtable.
Excellent.
soon,
You can
so
put me
will
right and
find
tell me off when
out.
I've got it completely wrong, and it's probably actually just pronounced Smith. So, right.
But yes, we're going to go again. SPEW is the Society for the Promotion of Employee Well-Dones. So basically, if you've had a team member go out of their way, not your way, to
if they've got out of your way, they're avoiding you.
yeah, basically to do something special and make your day even better. It doesn't matter how small it is. Let them know. Let guest services know, and email it to us at podcast@eu or podcast.com because we like to share them on the show.
Yeah.
We do indeed. Right, where shall we go next? Keep you on your toes. Darren,
Yes.
I'm coming to you.
All right.
Talk to us about the renovations at Monsters Cafe.
Yes. Well, it seems Universal Orlando are finally paying attention to the characters that put them on the map.
Yes, about
The
time.
much, the much maligned Monsters Cafe at Universal Studios Florida has had some tender love and care. The Monsters Cafe has had some revitalization recently due to the Halloween Horror Nights character dining experience being held in the restaurant, but now it's had a much needed makeover. Most of the non-Universal monster items have been removed, and those have been replaced with new scenes, new artwork, busts, and more. The new busts that can be observed were created by horror legend Tom Savini, which is awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah, that's
so
I can't wait
cool to see that. And at the entrance, a similar electrical machine. Similar to the one Dr. Frankenstein used. I'm just reading. To bring his monster to life, can be seen suspended from the ceiling. This machine comes to life after a clap of thunder and performs an electrical light show every couple of minutes. So cool. There are many new props, posters, artwork, busts, and more that make it a much cooler experience. So you can head over to uuopodcast.com to check out our photo update from there by Chris.
And it looks awesome.
It really does.
Yeah, it does. I'm glad we're seeing that now. I hope the next thing they do is a menu renovation.
Yeah, actually, in Seth's little things, I actually cut it out because I knew we were going to talk about it, but he mentioned the renovation, and then he said it looks really cool on the inside. Unfortunately, the menu hasn't had a renovation, and it's still as bad as it was.
Maybe that's to come. Who knows? So what you've seen...
I would go in. It would make me want to go in. I didn't realize.
All the different sections.
I didn't realise it was that big.
And well, no, me either, because it looks like a tiny little footprint.
Yeah, and it's huge.
Obviously, it's a TARDIS. So, which section would you want to sit in? You see, I really liked there was a swamp area, and I like the idea with the lighting.
Oh, yeah.
The lighting effects make it like ripple, so you're underwater.
It's a bit like Scream Factory.
But the one that really got me was the Dracula and was it Frankenstein section. And it was all deep reds and quite dark and just lovely.
Yeah, it was always a cool place, but unfortunately, like I said, the menu has been something that just doesn't really work with what I'm looking for in a theme park. So, but yeah, just the environment inside, we always stop there, and if we need to hang out and just get some air conditioning or whatever, that's always the spot we go to. It's nice and dark and just really cool surroundings. So nice to see it get some care.
They could have some really good, could have some fun with the menu, couldn't they?
Yeah, I want some monster themed food. From there.
It's funny, isn't it? Because you think, well, like with the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Hogsmeade opening, they really sort of upped their game as far as in-park dining. And then when Springfield opened, that took it to a whole new level of good food, but obviously well-themed towards the property it was. And then the same with Diagon Alley. And then it seems to have just stopped again. You kind of thought, well, maybe with the stuff they'd done at both Harry Potter's and Springfield, that they would start to look at other places around the park and bring them up to that standard. But they haven't really. It's kind of stopped again. Yeah. Especially when you look at how much attention they've paid to the restaurants on City Walk. And
it could even be something as simple as using like an iron to sear some stitches onto a turkey leg for you.
Yeah.
Just like simple things like that. Just make it cool.
Yeah.
It's such a shame because, again, like you look at what they did with Volcano Bay, that everyone was raving. Like beforehand, they made one of the things they made the biggest deal of at Volcano Bay was the food. And then it comes out, everyone's raving about it because it's amazing. Yeah. And then they cut most of it. It does seem like a lot of it's coming back.
Right.
But yeah, it's... Yeah, I don't know.
Well, you brought that down.
Well, it is. But that's the restaurants, if you're going to put that much effort into the restaurant, then the food itself's got to be at least okay, and it sounds like it's not.
Well, let's face it. It is the ideal spot to have smoking, bubbling drinks like the Flaming Moor.
Absolutely. Oh my God, why have they not done that?
In little beaker.
Yeah, test tubes and stuff like that. Yeah.
Those light bulb ones I've been seeing around everywhere. Those would be great for it. Yeah.
Can you imagine? They had 4 bubbling signature drinks, all different colours for each different monsters. But you could have a rack of test tubes, and that would be the monster's flight.
Oh,
that would be cool.
Frankenstein's is a green drink, and
Dracula's is red,
and the Wolfman's is full of hair.
It tastes so bad it makes you howl.
But it is. I think they're missing a trick. Maybe they will do. I hope so.
Well, that's it.
It would be really cool.
You could have. How do you want your burger? You want it bloody? You ask for it Dracula.
Yeah.
Just gimmicks like that would, on the kids, kids' menus usually have things like chicken fingers. It's monster fingers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a lot of effort.
It doesn't.
It's like that thing. Do you remember? That thing that went round on Facebook and Pinterest, like over Halloween, of doing the hot dog fingers.
Oh, I did that years ago. Yeah, you cut
the nail out so it looks like
and then you put the slices in for the knuckles.
Yeah. Just daft little things like that. Kids would go bonkers for stuff like that.
Do you not remember? This is perfect. Do you not remember a few years ago when I did the hot dogs in the buns, and it was bread dough that I rolled out into like big long snakes and wrapped around the hot dog and then baked it. Mummy dogs.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
And it took no effort.
No, I think they need to. At the end of the day, it's those monsters that put that studio on the map, and
some of us love them.
Yeah, at least they've.
Yeah.
Well, Darren, you've been on the show for six years at this point, and it's one of the things you always keep coming back to is complaining about them not paying the love and attention to those characters, and it is a shame.
Yep. Yes, that's very true. If they can't get their own attraction, then let's at least get them a decent restaurant. So it seems like they're going that way.
Yeah.
I think that's why that Scare Zone in 2015 was one of our favourites.
Yeah, the Dark Knight Die-in double feature. But yeah, it seems like you said in the bit there, Darren, that it has had a bit of love lately because they've been doing the scare actor dining in there.
Yeah.
And it seems to get pretty decent reviews. I know, again, Nikki and Gabe did it and they enjoyed it. Something I'd want to do. I know you're not into character dining much, Darren, but I think for me it looks pretty cool. What?
Choice of sauces on your burger
Here
would be
go.
blood or puss.
Mustard's the puss, is it?
Obviously.
I'm just checking.
You can also get green mustard.
Can you?
Yes.
I've never seen green mustard.
It was a gimmick, but it's only food colouring.
Oh yeah, they had purple ketchup and stuff too. We can bring that all back for this.
Easy.
Universal, right? We're not even going to charge you for it. If you want all these
come
ideas,
over and
just have
do it for you.
Exactly.
I don't know. They've got. Do you know
I'm
what?
also thinking of monster themed bento boxes. Oh. Hit me up.
Yeah. What's opening on City Walk?
I don't know. Oh,
You just need to
Voodoo
say it.
Donuts.
Voodoo Donuts.
Oh, yeah.
So sell them in there as well.
What a great idea. Oh my God, that's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It
Not
doesn't take
just a
an awful
pretty
lot of
face.
thinking about, does it?
It
I think
doesn't.
this is the problem sometimes with theme parks, that the people who are the sort of the heads of everything are too
The shrunken heads.
they're too involved in the theme park that they can't see beyond certain
Yeah,
things.
they can't see the finer details. They just see the overview rather
They don't
than
see
tiny.
the little things, and little things that are
They probably think that
Debbie-
somebody else is looking at those little things.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I think we've said with the show before, it's like sometimes we talk on the podcast that we expect everyone to know everything that we're talking about, and you forget that not everyone's as into the ins and outs of the theme park as we are, and you forget that. And I think sometimes that's the way these sort of
Creatives.
vice presidents, and not so much creative, but the people that are overseeing the decisions too blinkered. Sometimes they don't see the bigger picture.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that the most vocal comments they see are people like us
Yeah.
that are also very much in the know as far as the theme park and they're happening. So
And that they're the opinions that they're not bothered about because it's we're the vocal minority.
Yeah.
and overall, people are still giving them money. So.
Exactly.
Right. we just keep. Yeah.
But it does look awesome.
It
Done
does,
it
it
this
looks
way,
great.
I would go in.
Everything's Yeah.
I would go, if we were there, I would go
yeah.
in without a doubt. I don't care whether everyone says the food's crap. I would definitely, next time we're there, I'm in there.
Oh, no, the food's, I don't even think the food's that bad, and it's actually different stuff than you normally can find in a theme park. It just doesn't work for me because it's stuff with bones in it.
No, down with you then.
Oh, Tracy's out then.
No.
So it's more like dinner type food. It's odd. It's definitely odd choices for a theme park, but the food is not bad. I just want to
it's just So basically, it's just not what you would expect from a theme park restaurant. People expect chicken fingers and burgers and hot dogs and.
Yeah, and if you want to do something cool and different with it, that's cool, and people will embrace that. But yeah, right now it's just like dinner food, like you know.
Okay. That's a little odd.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Right. Let's go. And again, I think we need another cool down. So let's go and see our friends at Mouse and Muggle.
Hey you, that's right, you. Doesn't listening to the crew at UUOP every week make you wish that you were actually at Universal Orlando Resort? Well, stop wishing and start doing. Mouse and Muggle Travel Company is the perfect place to begin. Their team of concierge-level travel planners will help you every step of the way. From finding the right fit for your family and budget to customized itineraries and insider tips. They can handle it all. Even if a hiccup that is up to no good arises during your trip, Mouse and Muggle Travel Company will manage the mischief for you. And for you muggles who also love the mouse, their team of experts specialize in Disney destinations too. And the best part of all, their services are free to you. So, if you're ready to plan your next Disney or Universal vacation, let Mouse and Muggle Travel Company do all the work for you. Just go to mouseandmuggle.com and fill out a no-obligation quote request. Or send an email to info@mouseandmuggle.com. It's that simple. So what are you waiting for? Just raise your wand and repeat after me. Accio, phone. Didn't work? Muggles. Here, try some pixie dust instead. And remember, whether you're a mouse or a muggle, Mouse and Muggle Travel Company can help make your next vacation simply magical.
So yes, we've got another closure, which I was really shocked to hear about. So yes, Emerald, is it Emerald you pronounce it?
Emerald Lagasse, I do believe.
Emerald's Tchoup Chop is closing, which I was, as I say, very surprised to hear because...
Yeah, I was very surprised too. I was like, what is that?
it's one of those places, though. It's always been on my list of one day we'll go there, but we didn't because we had kids and we don't because I've got Lee. But, it was always one of those things. I just expected that at some point I'd be able to go.
It seems to be one of those places that has a really good reputation, but then when you actually speak to people who've eaten there, they'll tell you the food wasn't that great.
Yeah. Right. I also was surprised to find out where it was because I always thought it was in City Walk.
No. Emerald does have... Does
still.
Which one is it, Darren?
Does.
Just Emeralds.
Oh, it is just called Emeralds.
Yeah. So anyway.
I believe so, yeah.
Let me tell you the story before we start. Yeah. So, ScottJosephOrlando.com has reported that Emerald's Tchoup Chop, the pseudo-Hawaiian restaurant, isn't pseudo another word for pretend?
Yeah.
Yes.
The pretend Hawaiian restaurant, developed by celebrity chef Emerald Lagasse. So, developed, not run by. At Lowe's Royal Pacific, will close on December the 31st this year. The restaurant opened in 2003 and has been a signature establishment since then. So staff members were informed of the impending closure on the evening of the 26th of October. No idea yet what it's going to be replaced with, but when we know, you will know. So, but yeah, it's in the Royal Pacific, so it's got to be replaced with something themed to South Seas Islands food.
Yeah.
So
I don't know why, but I thought this was in
Yeah.
the Hard Rock.
no,
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah, we're not too good with restaurants outside of the theme parks.
No, I think you've never eaten in there either, then, Darren.
No. Actually, when I first read it, I did the same thing you did and went, "Oh no, the one in City Walk's closing." And then I never got a chance to eat there. But yeah,
Well, we've even stayed in the hotel.
We
And
all
didn't
have.
eat there. That's what I'm saying.
yeah
We'd even
I
stayed in the
wasn't
hotel.
allowed to go to those areas of the hotel.
No,
I
you.
was whipped and sent to my dungeon.
Yes, Dobby was kept in his broom closet.
You would have had to. No, you could have gone, Darren, but you'd have had to punish yourself. Darren had to iron his hands after visiting Tchoup Chop.
And on the way out, they give you your own sock.
Yeah, don't come back.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if this is true, because we've had no official announcement.
No, and I'm surprised actually.
Yeah, usually by this point they have, but
You would think so. If it's out there in the ether, it tends to.
but this is
New Year's Eve.
Lowe's.
Yeah.
It's more of a Lowe's responsibility to announce it than
Yeah.
That's
Universal's.
true.
And New Year's Eve isn't that far away.
It's not. We're only like 8 weeks or something.
So, a little less than that. It's about 7 weeks.
This year has been the year of closures.
It really
Yes, it
has.
has.
When we get round to doing our look back at 2017, it's just going to be this closed, that closed, that closed, that closed.
Yeah.
And Volcano Bay opened.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Fallon.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, it's,
So
no,
we-
that, it's not one that I'm particularly bothered about. It was never really on my radar. You know, obviously, it's that thing of doing what we do. Eventually, I'd like to eat everywhere on at the resort.
yeah, but the problem is
Yeah.
we've got 2 kids and it gets expensive when there's 4 of you. So we need it just to be the 2 of us again.
Well, I think even if it was just the 2 of us to eat everywhere on property is a big ask.
We don't need
Yeah,
to
I
pay the
think
mortgage.
This is a good time to tell people about the Producers Club.
Yes.
A little club we have. You can join for a nominal fee. That will feed all of us.
Yes.
At the parks.
Hey, and if you've just got some spare change, send it our way.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, we still haven't had...
There's next year's merchandise. We're going to send out, the savings tins that you can't get into.
That's
you
a
have
good
to,
idea.
So everybody has to save the loose change
And send it to us
and
at
then
the end
send
of the
it
year.
to us at the end of the year. That's next year's merchandise.
Yeah, it's interesting that everyone pretty much knows at this point that element store's closed and is going to be Voodoo Donuts, but we still haven't had an announcement of that either.
Oh, yeah. So we're getting back to the old Universal way of things.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be half
Where
finished by the
everybody
time.
knows for a year. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's the day before it opens.
Yep. We want to share with you something special,
Opening tomorrow.
Yeah.
which you've known about for a year.
I am excited for Voodoo Donuts, though.
I don't know an awful lot about them, but for what you've told me, I know
Yeah.
a good friend of the show, Andy, went out to the one at Hollywood a couple of weeks ago, and it's just, it sounds amazing.
I need my little donut man with his pretzel rod
That's what I
stabbing
want.
through
Yeah.
the heart.
I want
Yep,
one of
you
them.
gotta have that.
Yeah.
Bring it home and freeze it and keep it for posterity.
I'm just,
Be like the wedding cake, have it in 10 years.
yeah.
It just sounds so cool. I can't believe no one's ever thought about doing like proper themed shaped donuts before.
Yeah, well, since they have, a lot of other places have taken like their, at least the flavors and that kind of thing. Because around here, I've had some really interesting ones, like the cereal based ones that I heard about, from Voodoo Donuts first, like Cocoa Puffs donut or Cocoa Krispies or something like that. So
Okay.
it's so that's like one of their specialties that they do, where they have like their own like milk frosting that they put on there as well. So you just kind of have like a milk and cereal donut.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing.
See, the milk bits just put me off.
That sounds perfect to me. So over here we've got your choices,
Raspberry jam,
like
strawberry jam.
crappy sort of supermarket donuts, and then Krispy Kreme. And I've gone off Krispy Kreme, to be honest.
Oh no! Here in Tampa, we take donuts very seriously. I've had a donut that had an entire piece of birthday cake inside of it.
What?
Shout out to Dat's Dough.
Say that again, because I wasn't quite sure I heard that statement.
Yeah, it's a donut that inside of the donut, instead of like a cream filling or something like that, was an entire piece of birthday cake.
Oh
with
my
frosting
God.
included.
I want one of them. Darren, we're coming to see you next time we come to Florida.
A cake nut?
I'm just going to sit and eat donuts for a day.
Was it funfetti cake?
Actually, yeah.
See, I should be an American. I know what should be in these things. There's a reason I'm not skinny anymore.
Oh my God.
See, there's something. Why isn't there? Well, I don't know there is over there, but why isn't there a PB&J donut?
That's an interesting question. That seems a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that actually sounds amazing.
Or just make it a peanut-infused donut with the J in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
I love peanut butter and jam.
Right, I need a deep fat fryer so I can experiment. I've done the cupcakes, now I need to go on to donuts. Yes.
But anyway.
Yes. Sorry, that was Tchoup Chop we were talking about, not donuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, because we got onto Voodoo Donuts.
Oh, do you know what? Missed the headline. Emeralds gets the Tchoup Chop.
Yeah, you did.
Oh.
We're not a legitimate news outlet, though.
On fire.
That's clear.
Yeah, I did put the two words in twice in the space of 3 words.
Oh, Chop Chop gets a chop.
No, anyway.
Chop Chop gets a chop chop.
There you go.
I could go all night.
You can have chops at Chop Chop before it gets the chop. Anyway, come on. Only 10 minutes left. We've still got 2 big news items to get to. I can't believe how much has gone on.
I know. Oh my goodness. Right, just while I try and stop myself from laughing. Darren.
Actually, the next 2 are huge.
Yeah. Talk to us about this new land acquisition, please.
Universal Orlando have purchased even more land for future theme park expansion. The Orlando Sentinel reported that Universal closed on the purchase for $27.5 million on Thursday. A spokesman for Universal confirmed. I will give them the property in my apartment for a small $1 million. The new acreage is along Sand Lake Road, giving Universal a new major road frontage for its expansions. The land is adjacent to the $130 million purchase Universal made in December 2015 north of Universal Boulevard and west of Destination Parkway. That's the old bomb testing site.
Yeah.
The latest acquisition gives Universal more than 570 acres to work with for expansions, which is multiple times larger than the property it currently owns and operates as Universal Orlando Resort.
Yeah,
it's a big chunk of land.
There is, and a lot of people have been speculating, what could they fit on the land that they've now bought? And if you look at something like the Magic Kingdom, for example, according to Magic Kingdom on Wikipedia, the Magic Kingdom is 107 acres. And they're talking about having, over 500?
570 acres.
Now, does that include the Wet and Wild property? Potentially, it could be that Wet and Wild, the bit on Lockheed that they bought last year, and then this new bit as well. So I don't think it's...
But even then, on this current property, we already looked at it, you could fit... Before they made this new acquisition, you could almost fit 2 entire Universal Orlando resorts on this property. And that's including parking, City Walk, and the 2 parks.
Wow.
Yeah. And all the resorts, excuse me. Sorry. Everything.
Yeah, it's going to be...
I'm just saying, looking here, they're keeping the lake.
Yes.
Which I'm
we haven't got that far yet, because that's something else.
Oh.
That's the next one that you're going to talk about. You're spoiling things now.
Oh, no, I'm just looking at the pictures.
Of what? We're talking about land.
Sorry. I'll just sit and ignore you again then.
Because I know when they bought the last bit, we had Sandra Pedicini on from the Orlando Sentinel to talk to us about it. And we still had... It's still a weird thing that they're obviously trying to make, for argument's sake, Universal World. The Universal Orlando World. Mm-hmm. But they said when you're down on Disney World property, you're on Disney World property.
You mean a Universal Universe?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm here all night.
But if they build... So obviously, whatever's going on the Wet and Wild plot, we'll get there in a second. This new bit of land down there, which seems to be in 2 sections, but fairly close to each other. And then obviously, Universal Orlando Resort, or where it is. But you're going to be driving... between those bits with, Chuck E. Cheese and TGI Fridays and Chili's and Dunkin' Donuts and random sort of Orlando hotels. that aren't anything to do with Universal. It's going to be weird.
It is. It'll be a little odd, but we'll see how they handle that. If they come up with some kind of a elevated transportation system, would obviously make the most sense. But whether or not the city of Orlando is cool with them doing that, and the different properties are okay with those being overhead, that's up to them and the city and everybody to decide. And I'm sure those things are already happening without us knowing about it.
I mean, at the end of the day, they're doing what they can do. They haven't. If they want to expand that resort, they're doing the only thing they can do, because they can't. There's no option of land literally around what they've already got, so they're just picking up bits here and there where they can. And I'm sure they'll, like you say, I've no doubt before they've purchased this bit of land, they've had plans. I'm pretty sure I heard that they've already started groundwork on this new bit that they've bought, that it's flattened, and they've already got like a parking lot in there for people to park their cars, getting ready to do whatever sort of construction it is that they are going to do on it.
Yeah. I mean, this is a great opportunity for them to incorporate Back to the Future into the parks again, with hover vehicles. Yeah. As we saw in Back to the Future 2 in 2015, hover conversion kits only cost $100,000. And I'm sure they've really gone down since then. So retrofitting a bunch of vehicles, with the conversion kit should be pretty easy.
I feel there's an armchair Imagineering show coming up, because I think we could brainstorm about what is a third park for Universal. What
we have kind of done that one the first.
A little bit, but it's like now we're in. It's just such a weird. Like, are they going to hold Nintendo off to put it into the new park, or is it still going to go into Kids Zone? Because it seems like everything's kind of halted a little bit over in Kids Zone.
Yeah, like full stop. People we've heard that do the Barney show have heard that things are going to continue as normal for quite a while now. So yeah. That's very different than what we were hearing in the past. And I mean, obviously they were even anticipating this happening before Horror Nights started, because they routed Ash versus Evil Dead through the ET queue.
Yeah.
So that's a big sudden change for them. So yeah, I'm thinking that you might be right. We might not be seeing it going into the studios at all.
I tell you what will be interesting, Dan. I was going to throw this at you. I know we weren't going to talk about this and we're just about done, but whatever. It will be interesting to see if they would think about whatever this third gate is, making it from the ground up work better for Halloween Horror Nights. Whereas Horror Nights now's kind of fit into the park as it was, whether they would build a theme park from the ground up with everything, what's the word I want to use? My brain's not working.
Like facilities and sound stages and stuff like set up on purpose for Horror Nights.
Yeah, so it wasn't fitting Horror Nights into something that's already there, that they would put everything in. The park would be built with Horror Nights in mind.
Now that would be really cool. I would definitely be happy with that. The only problem I see happening with that is it just depends on what properties they're putting in there for the daytime stuff. Because if it's mainly like a Nintendo based land, I think like property rights and that kind of thing, they'll have trouble doing Horror Nights there.
Yeah,
like that kind of thing. But if not, then yeah, certainly. And it would of course benefit them with the behemoth that Horror Nights is now, and it's completely insane, as I saw on Saturday night. It's very clear that they need to do something like that. If they don't do it there, then they need to make some permanent facilities in Orlando that are more built around this, like specifically for it, like you said. So
yeah, because I think a lot of people have clamored for it to go back into Islands of Adventure, but I think having it over both parks is only ever a temporary solution. I don't think it could ever become a permanent thing.
That's a lot of ground to cover. I mean, even in one park, you have to cover a lot of ground, and you end up walking like 5 miles a night.
Yes, remember.
So, Jesse's feet is testament to that.
Yeah, so going back and forth between the two parks is going to add even more to that, like you guys know too. So
yeah,
but then that does alleviate the crowds, because you've got a number of people at any one point being in between parks. So it does work, but I don't think it's ever...
I mean, if you can also increase the number of houses as well. Like, if we're just getting into ridiculous numbers, that just might be what you have to do at this point. So
I think it's interesting looking back that 2004, when they did it over both parks, there was still only the same amount of houses as there is this year. There was only 9 still.
Yeah. But that was a jump up from what it was typically at the time.
Probably, yes, you're probably right.
I think they were on like 6 or 7 houses at the time. So for it to bump up to 9 was significant.
Fair enough. Yeah. But yes, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, if they can do that, that would be great, to not have to walk miles out to a house like Ash versus Evil Dead this year. Like literally over a mile, I think, of queue before you get to the house, and then to have to walk that all the way back.
Yeah.
Just have things set up a little better would be great.
Right. So yes, more change potentially. Some new hotels have been announced.
Well, before I started this was a rumor.
Yes.
It was like, we're going to hear that there may be some new hotels being announced soon, and then literally,
well, today. Today, as in recording today.
Yeah, Monday.
Only a few hours ago, actually.
It wasn't long ago.
Yeah, they announced 2 high-quality, high-value hotel options for families looking for three park thrills would be great. Theme park thrills, even. Exclusive benefits and a seamless Universal Orlando resort experience. And they're claiming they're going to start at less than $100 a night.
See, what does that mean? Because obviously this is going on the Wet and Wild.
$99.99.
Exactly.
The Wet and Wild property. What does that mean then? A seamless Universal Orlando resort vacation?
That means that you can use your resort billing options across those resorts and the resorts over at Universal Orlando.
It's going to be as if you were on site. It's just an extension of on site.
And then also, I'm guessing that's alluding to the constant transportation that will be going back and forth.
That's what I was more kind of thinking of, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at, there's probably going to be buses leaving every 10, 15 minutes between. It's literally going to be just shuttles backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
So, yes, there are going to be a combined 2,800 guest rooms.
Wow.
Which will include 1,452 bedroom suites designed to accommodate families of all sizes.
That's good. 2-bedroom suites is something they do not offer on site at the moment. Apart from maybe the Cabana Bay suites.
Have the partition.
Yeah, which it's not a true 2-bedroom thing. It's a little weird, but
it helps when you've got kids and you don't want to go to bed at 8 o'clock.
It does, but it sounds like these are the first ones that are really geared up for like what we stayed in at the Enclave.
Isn't Aventura offering suites?
Pretty
sure Aventura's going to.
Yeah.
Kids suites. 591 square
suites.
foot room, sleeps 6 and features a special interior area for the kids that includes 2 twin beds. You can put the little ones to sleep securely while you enjoy a few hours of downtime in a separate area that offers a king bed and a couch that converts to a deluxe foam bed. So
yes, they're the ones that sleeps up to 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh yeah, see,
still not
sometimes
classed as a 2-bedroom. It's not.
I didn't say it was 2-bedroom, but it offers that.
Yeah.
That division, so you can still carry on as an adult.
Yeah. Sounded like when we stayed at Disney, we were all in the same room, literally in the beds next to each other, and it was a pain in the backside.
Yes, especially with wriggle arse and.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Both options will be value driven, which is good to hear.
I think we talked about it a lot with these ones on that site. They had to be.
Yeah, and nightly rates are going to start below Cabana Bay Beach Resort and the Aventura Hotel prices.
So we said what, $100?
So less than $100. They're going to start at less than $100.
Wow.
And if you
I wonder how the other hotels around the area feel about that.
Yeah, well, it's weird though, because Darren, you used to say that you used to stay at was it the Holiday Inn you stayed at the DoubleTree? No, which one was it? The one you used to walk to Universal from?
Holiday Inn. I stayed at a couple of times across from Universal. Yeah.
And how much were you paying for that?
Under 100 at the time, but that was a long time ago.
Okay.
That was staying in that one. You're talking about close to 10 years ago.
Now, what I'm going to find interesting is where we usually stay our hotel of choice,
Right.
say we got the same suite that we had the first time we stayed there with the views, we'll be looking directly at these hotels.
You would be.
And it's going to be less than we would pay here. So is that going to stop us from staying here and going to stay there instead?
True. With the added benefits that you get,
Exactly.
along with the resort, you might as well. Because you got the early park entry, and then you've got
That's a big one.
the charging privileges and stuff like that to charge stuff to your room.
Because, I mean, where we stay is lovely,
But if
but
you
this is going to be lovelier because it's brand new.
agreed, and you're going to get virtually the same suite,
Yeah.
plus
It all
all
depends
the
on their accommodations, yeah.
You know, and much as I love where we stay,
yeah. If you had the option to do the same thing for even if it was $10 more, you'd have to seriously look at it because that extra park, that early park admission's
yeah.
killer on them first. If you're going at a relatively busy time, you can
And-
knock a lot out in
and
that first hour.
Depending on how they're going to shuttle people across, it could be worth us shuttling across rather than paying parking and driving over ourselves. Because if there's going to be buses every 10, 15 minutes, you're going to get back to your hotel quicker than you would going to the parking lot, getting your car, driving out. Anyway, so this seamless and convenient experience. So it's going to be early park admission to studios and islands and Volcano Bay, complimentary transportation across the destination, and resort-wide charging privileges. There's charging privileges. Now, I wonder if this is going to offer your purchases transported.
Interesting.
But then again, if you're at the beginning of your stay and it's going to be the next day before your stuff gets taken, I wouldn't mind that.
No.
You know. So the two hotels are going to be
We didn't
750 rooms and 2,050 room hotels. Will be located, as we know, just minutes away from Universal Orlando.
Literally.
And City Walk.
Well, it's on the corner of Universal Boulevard, isn't it?
Put it this
Depending
way.
on the time of day you're trying to get there.
Yeah.
That can be anywhere between 5 minutes and 2 hours.
That is true. I know when we came over last time, that first night we went over to City Walk to because we just came over on the Saturday night to go to Red Oven for tea, and it was about 8 o'clock, maybe a little bit. No, it wasn't. It was about 5:30, and it took us 20 minutes to get from the Carrier Drive
yeah.
junction to the entrance on Universal Boulevard, like to go through the ticket booths there. It took us at least 20 minutes.
And it's what, 2 miles tops?
It's barely that.
Yeah. So amenities will include combined 3 pools, 2 food courts with breakfast, lunch, dinner, coffee bars, poolside bars, fitness rooms, car rental facilities, and more.
I like the car rental facilities thing, so it means...
But getting from your hotel, from the airport to your hotel.
You Uber it.
Isn't that all up in the air though at the moment with Uber?
No.
Not allowed, they resolved that.
Well, when Craig went with Nick for Horror Nights, they Ubered. No, they didn't. They had a friend pick them up. But
Yeah.
they could have done. They could have got Uber, and I think Seth mentioned it on
So
a
that
little
got
thing a
resolved.
while
That
back.
got resolved. That's
several times.
Yeah.
That's good.
So you could, if you were, like for us,
Yeah.
if we were going to Orlando for 2 weeks, or we could stay 2 weeks at this hotel, spend your first week at Universal, and then hire a car for your second week because your car hire facility is there. You're not having to go off-site anywhere for
Yeah.
it. I think
Yes,
they've been
it's,
very savvy.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's saying here, guests will enjoy sun, surf and sand with a laid-back coastal feel. Nice.
I'm going to get the picture up.
Towering exterior murals with vibrant and natural colours will set a free-spirited and beachy tone, inviting guests to hang loose throughout their stay.
What does
Don't
that
hang
mean?
too loose, though, because you will be arrested. I've got to say, the artist's impressions, it looks really nice. You know, it doesn't look like a high-end hotel, but it doesn't look like a cheap value resort
I
either.
tell you what it reminds me of. When you see those films set in Las Vegas and you see the Vegas
Yeah.
hotels, and
Yeah.
it's like all around the pool. That's what it looks like.
That's what this seems like bottom floor retail and then top floor hotels.
Yeah.
Have you skipped to the next one where it's actually... Because one's like a
Oh, yeah, with the lake.
U-shape,
That's what you were saying before,
Yeah.
wasn't it? That they're
Which-
obviously keeping the lake.
which I am really pleased about, because being on the other side of that lake, the wildlife that is on that lake is unbelievable.
Well, it's funny because we heard
know.
it was pretty solid rumour at the time that the third park was going on that lake, that they were going to drain it, fill it, and build it on there.
Yeah.
Well, and actually, that rumour was still... I was still hearing that this year. Even though plans for 2 hotels were submitted March or April time for this. So why those rumours were still rolling around, I'm not quite sure. Anyway, so yes, that site is a 64-acre site, so that's a substantial size. We know where it is, the intersection of Universal Boulevard and International Drive.
That's it. Most people are going to come somewhere near it going to the parks.
I mean, it's very easily accessible as well from the I-4.
Yeah.
It's really well situated, actually, when you think about it.
It's about a 20-minute drive from the airport.
And if you're staying there and you do want to go to Disney or SeaWorld or pick up the I-4 to go down to Tampa or go over to Kennedy and stuff like that, it's actually you're minutes away from all of those routes.
And less of a ball ache to get out of than if you were staying at the Royal Pacific or the Hard Rock or Cabana Bay or one of those.
True.
Now, what isn't mentioned is whether they are going to charge a nightly rate for parking.
Yes, I was going to mention that. That will be interesting.
Because
I don't know whether they would, Darren, because go on, Trace.
I was going to say all the hotels, bar and Cabana Bay, are $20 a night.
On site, they're more than that, aren't they?
At the
Sapphire Falls was 24.
That's 24, is it? Because Cabana Bay is 12.
Yeah, I think the other ones are more.
So why aren't people parking in Cabana Bay and just...
Because you're not allowed to. It's a 15-minute walk from Cabana Bay to anywhere.
Well...
But as you to go against you there, Darren, if they're obviously putting this hotel there to compete with your chain hotels that are in and around the International Drive area, and none of those hotels will charge you for parking. And I think that would be one thing. If they charge for parking there, it would potentially put people off.
Anything that's considered a resort hotel in Orlando, though, charges for parking. So
that's because we've never paid for parking at a hotel outside of Universal.
Yeah, we just stayed at the Rosen Center last weekend, which is a little closer to SeaWorld, actually, but it's another resort hotel that charged $15 a night for parking.
Yeah, I find that weird because the only hotel we've ever stayed at in Orlando.
Those are hotels. Hotels do not charge for parking typically. Resorts do.
What do you class as a resort, Darren?
It's not what we class as a resort, it's what they class as a resort.
Well, what do they class as a resort?
Doesn't really matter. Sometimes they look exactly the same. And one's a hotel and one's a resort. It's up to them as whether they want to charge the resort fees and fees for parking and that kind of thing.
Okay.
If they consider themselves a little bit more upscale than they charge for parking.
The Hard Rock and the Royal Pacific are the only two we've stayed at in Orlando that we've had to pay parking for.
So what you do then is, if you did it the way you were talking, you work out whether it is cheaper to hire the car for a week and pay a nightly rate, or you go down every morning and hire a fresh car.
Yeah, you could do
and you're
that.
not paying, you just work out which is a cheaper option. Yeah,
so you pick it up in the morning, drive to where you go, and then drop it back off in the night.
And just do, I assume you would get a better rate for hiring for longer.
Obviously.
But if it works out cheaper not to pay the nightly rate, then you do that. So yes, these new hotels will bring the total number of guest rooms at the destination to 9,000, which is quite a substantial number.
It is. Well, I know they wanted more. I think when we had Russ Dagan at our meet in 2013, he said they wanted it up to, I want to say, 15,000 rooms on site, wasn't it?
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, that's including the 600 room Aventura, which opens August next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Reservations for this will be accepted in early 2018, but I didn't actually notice they haven't given an opening date.
No.
But I suppose we'll have a better idea when they start taking reservations, because they will have to know.
They'll knock it up when you think.
Oh yeah.
Aventura hasn't been getting built for that long, and it's virtually done. Well,
looking at these artists' impressions, it does actually look like it may be made out of cereal boxes, so that's pretty quick.
It does actually look like cereal boxes.
Well, if it looks like that, it looks very attractive, and
It does.
I'm very tempted.
I think it fits in along international drive from what people will be expecting, but obviously with those added benefits of it being an actual Universal hotel, it's definitely, it would make me, I would at least give it a second glance.
This does not get you off the hook for Portofino Bay, though.
No, I know.
Yeah, just saying. Right.
We've got
been
some stuff.
Yeah, that's been quite some show. I think we've actually ended on a positive, so I think
so.
I chose that quite well. Yeah, what a show. Lots of information to digest there. Not from Tchoup Chop, though.
No.
And, yeah, I guess we're kind of done. So, for Darren, for Lee, and myself, this has been the Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. And that's it.
Well, that wraps up another Unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Thanks for listening. Between shows, please subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes. It really helps. But if you're not an Apple user, you can find us on Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play, or wherever great podcasts are found. Head over to our blog at uuopodcast.com for show notes, articles, and more. You can get in touch with us by emailing podcast@uuopodcast.com or leave us a voicemail at speakpipe.com/uuopodcast. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube. Just search UUO Podcast. And if you're planning a trip to Universal Orlando or Walt Disney World, please check out our sponsors by going to mouseandmuggle.com to book your next trip. Well, that's a wrap. See you next week.